In the 21st century, for the first time, anyone at any time can be the messenger of too much information. And how have we chosen to celebrate this miraculous gift, to enshrine it in a great throbbing symbol, the cock picture? Ladies and gentlemen, through interviews with the victims and thrusting deep into the storied history of what experts call spontaneous visual cock transmission, I hope to show you this magical world. I will clarify. I want all of you to look at the man closest to you. He has spent at least 5 minutes with his cock out like Dirk Diggler at the end of Boogie Nights, taking picture after picture with his cell phone. The issue that has been whipped out before us, however, is the unasked for, unsolicited cock picture. I've spoken to the victims of this unfortunate phenomenon, and patterns have emerged. Cell phones are frequently the vehicle with which unsolicited cock pictures are delivered. Usually it's from a lady's kind of a friend, or a man given a phone number, then just as quickly forgotten. The pictures come late at night without introduction or context. If the woman has the wherewithal to actually respond back to the picture, usually they are greeted with the line, "Like you surprised." However, the greatest dark, phallic forest a woman must venture through is the dating website. The mere act of setting up an online dating profile is an open invitation for unsolicited pictures from a veritable rainbow coalition of awful. These pictures come from random strangers who stumble into a woman's profile and, like a skunk spraying, responds first with their penises. These pictures also come with delightful personalized captions. A few examples I gleaned. "You like? Want to ride this? I've got a hotel room. This is what you're missing. And the greatest, who's hungry?" In the interest of journalistic integrity, I sought out these pioneering men, these Banksies of the genitals. For some reason, however, they were hesitant to speak with me. So I sent out a message on Craigslist requesting anonymous interviews. While left without interviews, I am now the proud owner of 135 new penis pictures. So instead, to gain a thicker, fuller picture of this phenomenon, we must travel the paths of history. Come with me, won't you? The first example of a recorded SVCT was discovered in 1989 at a Neanderthal cave site in Gibraltar. Painted on the walls was a crude phallus, a thumbs up, and a question mark. Later cave sites show a greater degree of coccular complexity, including things like painted veins and pubic hair. Debate still rages in higher archaeology and anthropology circles whether Homo sapiens simply wiped out Neanderthal crotchular arts with greater sophistication or simply absorbed it into the larger Neolithic phallic zeitgeist. As man's capacity for creativity grew, so did his desires and means to show his strengths to the wider world, from smoke signals and stone napping to art and architecture, with the growth of civilization. In 1824, mankind entered a new age when Joseph Niepce gave his local cleaning woman a daguerreotype of his talents. The first photographic representation of a penis given to an unwilling and increasingly panicked recipient. While mankind found plenty of ways to engrave their shriveled outer beings, he was still flummoxed on how to transmit it to a wider audience, more appreciative than the ladies on the bus. However, in 1836, SVCT technology entered a new golden age with the invention of telegraph by Samuel Morse. Morse, a socially awkward and sexually aggressive man, quickly found a new use for his technology, as evidenced by a diary excerpt of one Miss Tabitha Pemberton, found after the 1865 sinking of the SS Sultana into the Mississippi River.
September 19th, 1841. Tonight, I have the unfortunate pleasure of meeting the talented Mr. Morse at Miss Holverbrick's birthday gala. After gleefully installing his new telegraph, into my home. He proceeded to imbibe a hog shed of pork and asked me if I was a Democrat or Whig in the trousers. Naturally offended, I left. But upon returning, I received the oddest telegram from Mr. Morse. An 8, 3 equal signs, and the letter D. 5 minutes later, another telegram saying simply, "Who wants in on this?"
I'm sorry, all this was just so I could show you that up there. Back to the lesson. The next great innovations came during the Roaring Twenties. Great authors of the time considered it a high form of art to call random women and describe their penises to whoever picked up. The shortest description came from the author Hemingway. For sale. 8-inch condom, never used. With the development of TV and the rise of the American military-industrial complex in the 1950s, not only did the remote transmission of Western phalluses in real time become not only possible, but quite manful. A democratic activity that set Western men apart from the godless Soviet hordes. They even released a hygiene film to be played at schools titled Cock Pictures and You, Partners in Freedom. Unfortunately, my research interns and I were unable to recover anything more than a few screen stills and some audio from this film. Let's watch.
Here's Johnny, star quarterback, editor of the school newspaper, straight-A student, beautiful son of our parents. And this is Susie, isn't she pretty? Smart, charming, and 3 times Double-H beauty queen. And boy, oh boy, does she make a spiffy apple turnover. Johnny thinks Susie is keen. Johnny has a problem. He doesn't know how to tell her. So Johnny goes where he always goes when he needs help. Jesus. Fortunately, Johnny's pastor is a shareholder in General Dynamics and shows off freedom and capitalistic ideals. Pastor Dave tells Johnny about the wonderful world of photography. With these new inventions, Johnny can show Susie what makes him a red-blooded American male. Anytime he wants, anywhere he wants. Johnny can't wait to try out his new invention and show Susie his patriotic gifts. And who knows, maybe he'll find a cute new girl in Russia to break down her Iron Curtain. Ha-ha! Take that, Ivan. So then you, partners in freedom.
SVCT finally began to reach its modern forms in the 1970s and 80s, with the development of personal computers and the telecommunications revolution that followed. Bill Gates claims to be the first one to ever transmit a binary representation of his genitals to a woman in 1981. Look that shit up online. Scandal immediately followed the claim. From the moment of its release, there was allegations of copyright infringement. Lawyers from Apple still say he stole the code from a black programmer that was employed by them at the time. This brings us to today, and the future of SVCT. What new horizons do bored flashers and their disgusted victims have to look forward to? Many look to Japan, where scientists just released a holographic penis projector that will randomly generate a picture of your penis at any time within 2 miles of the user. While a few idealists believe this phenomenon will die out with greater advances in basic human decency, the smart money is elsewhere. In fact, recently, $5 billion has been invested in the SETI program so that alien life may know the turgid greatness of mankind without even being asked. Now, some dismiss SVCT as an aberration, a cheap thrill. But biologists have begun to view this behavior in a new light. Peacocks have their magnificent feathers. Mandrills, their fiery sunset buttocks. In the great Darwinian race, the boring, uninspired male has always lagged far behind his lesser brethren in the quest to attract a mate. But now technology has given mankind what nature has so cruelly denied him. These pictures, these images, are our key to a greater world, to march forward forcefully, manfully, erectly, into a shining new epoch. Thank you, have a good night.
See you, Carr.